Hey, this is William Tincup and Ryan Leary, and you are listening and watching to the Use Case Podcast. We have Max on from Echo. We're going to be learning all kinds of things about him and his company. Max, how you doing today?
Very good, very good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely happy to have you. So let's just jump right in, man. Tell us a little bit about Echo. Let's start the learning
Well,
process. Go ahead.
yeah, well, I think I should start a little bit talking about my background, how,
Yeah.
my path led me to working at Echo and being in charge on all of the operations and business processes there. So, my name is Max, born and raised in Ukraine, and in late 2014, I moved to China, where I spent, I'm not afraid to say, amazing 6 years working in international trade, representing Chinese factories all over the world.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
yeah,
cool.
also that time I had a couple of personal e-commerce projects, and that's probably where I acquired some solid sales, communication, and business skills, which I later decided to apply in the tech space. So I believe that that period of my life has tremendously impacted the course of the path that eventually led me to work in the tech industry. And fast forward, I will just transition how I started working in the tech space. So in 2014, I moved to China. Then fast forward to 2020, COVID broke out, and I moved back to Ukraine. And that actually was not the main reason why I left China, but we could talk about it a little bit later. So it just happened that I always had friends working in tech. So long story short, I got a call from a friend of mine who desperately needed help managing the company, and that's how I became a business partner and co-owner of Echo Global. And now I am in charge of basically all of the operations here.
Got it.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit about Echo. What are we looking at
Yeah,
here? What is Echo, and what's the problem that you all are solving?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we help Western tech companies to build or expand their tech teams. But the way we do it is by hiring software engineers within our company where they work full time exclusively for our clients. And we are not involved in the product development directly. However, we take all of the legal burden that comes with hiring off of our clients' shoulders. And by that, I mean that we cover all social benefits, tax, HR support. We organize team building events, corporate parties, you name it. So basically, we make sure that the employees they feel comfortable working remotely and feel themselves as an integral part of our client's company, not like just, another freelancer who can disappear on you at any point of your collaboration. So that's why uh, I don't like when we are being confused with just a recruitment company, because we are not. We are not.
Right.
We Recruitment is an indispensable part of our process, but it's not the biggest value that we provide.
Right. It's interesting because we've seen a lot of movement in global payroll where, and even global recruiting in this sense of we need to hire 100 engineers. They're going to be in 40 different countries. How do we get them paid, etc. And your model, what I love about it is it's different from that. It's basically saying, no, we're going to hire them. They're going to be a part of our company. They're going to be working for you. And
Exactly.
so, all the while, but we'll make sure that they're taken care of. We'll make sure that their benefits are right. We'll make sure that everything's taken care of. And when that project's over, we'll redeploy them on another project or
Mhm.
whatever. And do you go, because there was a model with RPO years ago where they would put people on site and they would have email addresses. So people, the outside
Mhm.
world wouldn't even know that they weren't quote unquote employees because they didn't act like employees. I mean, they acted like employees. So what do you do with stuff like that? Like, are they because they're in the project? People
Yeah.
need to hire them. They need to scale up quickly. Are they to the point of actually having email addresses and they're
hmm
just working with them 9 to 5 or whatever the schedule is?
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, you said that we work with the software developers. I mean, we provide software developers to our company, to our customers until they finish working there, and
Right.
we put them on the other project. That actually is not how it works in our case, because our main goal is to find customers to work with us long term. So most of our customers work with us for 5, 6, 7 years. We have a lot of success stories where small startups started working with us on a very tight budget, and then eventually they got acquired a few years later by a bigger company, and overall, all of our employees got really good sales bonuses and stuff like that. So that's how we try to position ourselves, that we are a long-term partner. If somebody comes to us and says, look, we have this feature that we want to implement, it's going to take 3 months. We will suggest you to go either to Upwork or hire somebody directly. We still would be happy to help you out with finding somebody, but we as a company not going to be a good fit. Then when you look at the LinkedIn profile of Echo's employees and at the same time, let's say our customers' employees. So we give a choice to those guys to either put Echo Global or put the customer's company on their profile. We don't really care. They do have both corporate emails, Echo Global at echoglobal.tech, and also their customers. Our customers, their company. But on the day-to-day basis, they communicate more with our customers.
Right.
We do have HR on the staff at Echo Global, but his job is basically to make sure that they are happy. He has one-to-one sessions with them once in a while, and sometimes, let's say, if somebody wants to move from one city to another city, or just have some, random problems, day-to-day problems that we would be happy to help them solve, which is, I also believe, is our benefit, because even if you hire somebody directly who is in the other part of the world, you would not be able to help them locally, even if you really wanted to.
Right.
And that's what helps us to maintain and keep those new hires and employees for as long as possible.
So Max, talk about the actual customer here that we're referencing. So what makes a good customer for Echo? What's the type of company? What type of projects what type of work will they be doing, or what type of product are they pushing into the market?
Yeah. So our ideal customer is small, mid-sized company. We try not to work with the huge companies, although we do have our customer who's been with us for a long time. It's an American company that is Fortune 500, but it just happened. We just got lucky to work with them. But the reason why we try not to work with huge companies, because they have a lot of levels of approval, a lot of bureaucracy and stuff like that. It's really difficult to work because we are a small company. We are not a big company. And I think that's also one of our benefits, because we don't have a lot of billable stuff, that we have to pay. If you have a huge company, they would have inflated billable staff that they have to pay salaries, and so that is your cost. That's what you as a customer also will pay for. Another thing that we work remotely. I'm a big proponent of remote work. We do have office in Lviv, but most of our employees work everywhere, basically in almost any country in Europe or in the world. So and sorry, Ryan, what was your question? Oh, the ideal customer. Okay. So not a big company. It could be an established startup, not somebody who's just looking for the investments. They have this amazing startup idea and they come to us. I say, sorry, it's not really, it doesn't fit our business model. But if you already have somebody who is tech savvy and who understands what he's talking about when we are talking, about technologies and product development, so we can help you to build your team from scratch. If you are a software engineer, or the best case scenario, if you already have a tech team and you just want to expand, that is the ideal customer for us.
Right.
So customers can be from anywhere in the world, and your talent can be from anywhere in the world.
Customer can be from anywhere in the world as long as they have money,
Right. Yeah.
But as experience shows, right now we have customers only from the US and from the UK.
Right.
We used to have quite a few customers from Europe. But if somebody comes tomorrow to us from Singapore or from, Middle East, no problem. We, of course, be happy to work
And your
together.
developers, the talent itself, is that's from everywhere in the world, or
No, no, they are not. So because we have our recruitment department, and they feel strong in Eastern Europe
right,
countries, so we have a good
right,
network and good database of software engineers. So let's say if you come to us and say, I need, here are the technical requirements, we would probably have already a huge list of people that we could reach out that already know about us. Maybe they are working on some projects, but they know about us and they can recommend somebody. So the timeline would be much shorter than we would start all over from scratch. And but also we do. It's important to mention that we do, and not only passively, because there is a passive and active
right,
recruitment. So
right,
we also do headhunting. We reach out on LinkedIn. We check
right.
other companies because that is also a very, very important part. We never have people on the bench. So sometimes customers come to us and say, hey, I need this kind of developer for tomorrow, or for yesterday. Unfortunately, it's not how it works. And I explained that could be actually beneficial for you as a customer because we would find somebody who really fits your requirements. Not if we have only 3 or 10 developers, that would be your pool
Right.
to choose
It's
from.
limiting.
Yeah, but we have a base of 200,000 software engineers from all over Eastern Europe, and that's why I think the success of the hire is much better here in this case.
Well, walk us through a scenario here. So, people that are going to listen to the show are
Hmm.
they're looking for a use case that fits their company need, right? So,
Hmm.
we'll just assume they're in your ideal customer profile there. They're in your ICP. They're looking for somebody. They're looking for an augmented team, maybe for the next 3 to 5 years, to get them to a certain point.
Hmm.
What walk us through how that works from start to finish. So they've agreed in principle to work with you. What does that look like from onboarding? How do they interact with the developers that you have, and how hands-on is your leadership with that relationship, or is it just company to developer?
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, after we have a discovery call and they like what we could provide them and we agree on all of the technical requirements, that's I think another good thing for our potential customers, that they don't have to pay anything upfront until they get somebody hired. So we basically do everything for free for them. We start the recruitment process. We send them validated profiles, and by validated profiles, I mean not like random CVs that we found on the internet.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
we do our due diligence, we interview people, we check their background. Uh,
Did you do
tech,
skills testing?
we do a skills testing, yes.
Yeah.
Usually if we have somebody hired within our company who has, expertise who could do that, we use our own employees for that. If not, we use a third party company to do the technical validation as well. And also, later I can tell you the story about why it is so important to check the background, like to get referrals from the previous places of work, because we always learn from our own mistakes, and we had a huge incident, I would say, and it was caused because us not checking the scam artist, the con artist that we hired. Yeah,
Yep.
but I will get later to that. So let
We
me
need to
first
hear that
answer.
story.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
should have
let me
led with
first.
that story.
That's happened to everybody.
Yeah.
That's happened to
Yeah,
everyone. So
for
it's
sure,
very real.
for sure.
Um,
So
Go
yeah,
ahead, finish your thought.
I just wanted to answer the Ryan's question. We agreed we agreed on the technical requirements. Then we started a recruitment campaign. Then we send the validated profiles. So if the customer sees the profile and think that might be a good fit, we arrange the interview. If not, no problem. We would repeat the process until he finds. So we never put any pressure. Like, look, we've sent you 2 profiles and you don't like them. Why not? This is a good. We never try to oversell, because that will backfire on us later on.
Yeah. What's
If that.
that time frame from
You
that
stand up.
conversation to staffing
Yeah.
up?
Yeah. So usually we say that within 7 to 10 days we would send the first profile after we agree on
So you can
everything.
stand, basically, depending on how fast they interview and that type of
Yeah.
stuff, you can stand us up in 2, 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is actually very, very important point that you mentioned, William. If they communicate well, because often they
Yeah.
come to us, we agree on everything, we do our work,
And then they're slow.
we deploy our resources, and then we send them the profile, and then reply like 4 days later, 5 days later, and then again and again, and the whole process takes 2, 3 months of our work, and then
Yeah.
eventually they just disappear or ghost us, and that's a big disadvantage for us that we are not signing any agreement before we do that. But
Right.
we do that for the reason to put our customer on ease, that there is no strings attached. Let's just
Yeah.
try it.
What could go wrong? But also, hey, that's a barrier. There's a low barrier to entry here. We want to put talent in front of you. If you choose to work with that talent,
Yep,
we know it's all going to be on a long-term basis. Great. I
absolutely.
think it's an act of goodwill. It's a gesture that it's refreshing to hear. Um, do you do you get do you get considered as staffing? Do people think of you as staffing, or is that a bad word, or like what's your take on staffing?
You see, my partner Lou, he is an SEO. He's very good at SEO optimizing.
Well, we
So,
need to talk to him for in a different. No, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Uh,
so, so, by the way, off topic, I just scrolled through your YouTube videos and I saw a few comments like, "Hey guys, I checked your podcast.
yeah,
You need
yeah.
some SEO optimization and stuff like
Yeah,
True.
that."
yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
So,
so
so
about staffing and how do we position ourselves, we try to avoid to call us just a recruitment company.
right,
Many people they perceive us as just a recruitment, but recruitment we could do just pure recruitment service as well for 15% of the annual salary of the software engineer, and he works directly for you. We are not involved, with you after he gets hired. But
right.
people call us different in different ways. Staff augmentation company, dedicated teams, offshore teams, whatsoever. But basically, they always mean the same thing. Just people have different understanding of that.
Right.
Yeah, I want to say that sometimes it's really difficult to answer when you have a discovery call and the potential customer asks you, so guys, how you are different from other companies,
Right.
why should I work with you, not with hundreds of other companies available in the market? And that question that was on the back of my mind for a very long time and bugged me a lot, and I was thinking, because I always try to sell without selling,
Right.
I hate like old school, you are looking for
Hot,
software engineers
hot
who would,
box. Yeah.
yeah, perform for 2 pennies a month. This is your lucky day. That's not how it works, you know. So, and let's admit, there is no company on the market that would say, yeah, we have an average service and okay developers, so please come work with us. Everybody
Right.
says we have the best service, we have best developers, everything about us is the best. So how do you cope with that? How do you really stand out?
Yeah. We have
And
average
yep,
developers if you want to pay an average price.
Yeah.
I
that's the
mean,
point.
we've got
Nice.
developers at all levels. You want shitty,
Yeah.
we got shitty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
But
We
let
should
me let
we
me
should
ask you
just
a quick question here, Max. So this could just be my 1990s way of thinking, because
mm-hmm.
I do think American companies have, as they've gotten more global,
Yeah.
especially small business and SMBs and with the ability to go global and do certain things. Are you getting a lot of pushback on having an offshore development team for an American-based company, and not pushback from their customers or just from Americans at large, but from the owners of the companies that you're talking to? So from the buyer, are they resistant to this? or are they accepting of it? And if they're accepting, which obviously they are because you're in business, what are they most accepting of?
Yeah.
Do you mean, Ryan, the customers of our clients who find out that they have offshore team, or
No, no, no,
or
your customers directly.
oh, no, not really. Because I think that there is not the best option, you know. You could
Right.
I cannot say that working with us would be the best option for you and you should do that. I always give you a choice and I explain you every option that you have and what is best for. For example, you come to me and say we have to implement, not a very sophisticated feature and it's probably gonna take, as I mentioned before, not a long
Hmm.
time, 3 6 months. I explain it. Look, it's better if you hire a freelancer on Upwork. It's an amazing platform. I have nothing against Upwork. But if you really want somebody who would be invested in your project, who would feel like he is an integral part of your team, then it's better if you hire through us. Then there is another option. You can hire directly. But as I mentioned before, that would be more difficult for you to manage and to keep them and to feel like he is a part of your team, So regarding pushbacks, I cannot give you a certain answer because different people have different opinions, and
Yeah.
I never try to convince them. If I see that they are very resistant, I would
Yeah.
rather say, okay, look, this is what we could offer. Please think about it, and yes, yes, no,
Yeah,
no, that's your choice. That's it.
That's the best way to, in my
sure.
opinion, that's the best way to do it. Don't force people into something, especially you're looking for long-term relationships.
Yeah.
So, has this happened so far in terms of conversion? They've really just they've worked with somebody for 4 years. They
Hmm.
just really, really love them. And now they would like for them to join their team 100%. Um, has that already happened? Do you have a kind of a mechanism in place in case that happens?
I love your question, William, because that is a pain in the neck actually for us. We had a bad experience when our French customer back in the day, we hired the account size was 24 people that we hired for him, and that was a good business for us,
Right.
because we are not a big company. 24 people for us within one account, that's a good deal. And as you said, eventually they started pushing the idea of buyout of the whole team,
Yep.
and it did. We sold out. We led them to buy the whole team, but it was not on a very good conditions for us as a business. But it's a very long story.
Right.
So
Right.
we always try to avoid that. Although in our agreement with a customer, there is a stipulation that says there is an option, and you can
Right.
buy out somebody for not less than $10,000. But that's also another problem that we encounter quite recently. Actually, we are still dealing with that. So $10,000, it means if you want to buy out, I don't know, somebody who has a lower salary, like a QA engineer,
Right. Right.
or a low entry. But if we are talking about DevOps that you want
Yeah.
to,
It's got to
you
be a
know,
percentage of their salary.
yeah, one
Yeah.
of our customers came to us and said, "Look, we really like this guy, and we want to buy him out and promote him to CTO because he's a beast at what he does."
Wow.
And then they offered us 10K, and this is, look,
Yeah. Well,
that
you
is
become the
around of
farm.
his salary. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not how
You
the
become
buyout
the farm
works.
system. This has happened in the U.S. too,
Hmm.
as you probably well know. Is someone they basically use staffing firms to find people, and then once they find the people that they like, they work with them for a while. Then they're like, okay, now they'll either, which is even worse here. I'm just assuming is they'll just go around the company
Right.
and cut the company out entirely. Even if there
Yeah,
is a buyout, they'll just be like, okay, quit, and then we'll rehire you, and we'll rehire you at this salary, and you don't have to worry about the staffing firm anymore.
exactly.
That's a. I don't know of anybody that's in staffing that hasn't had some version of that happen to them, and it never feels it never feels good. But I think a flat fee, at least in what y'all do, I think a flat fee is probably not. And like if you think of the placement fee, if you were placing these people, you know, from a, as you said, headhunter or executive search, you get a percentage of their salary.
Yeah,
That's what the bid is. a placement fee can be the same thing, just thought of retroactive. They've worked with you for 3 years. You know everything about them that you need to know. You've worked with them for 3 years. You want to
Hmm.
hire them. Great. It's a placement fee.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, and I'm sure that we will consider it because that's
Yeah.
exactly what we are working on right now. We are
Oh,
still in the middle of the negotiation, you know.
Max, if you hadn't been through that yet, I'd be actually worried about the
Yeah.
business
It
because
means you just have shitty people.
yeah, well, that's the thing is at one point that company's going to say we really like Ralph. We really
Right.
want Ralph to be our CTO, or we want
Mm,
Ralph to be on
Yeah.
the team. We want him to fly around the world and do a bunch of stuff with us. And the relationship that you formed is not necessarily the relationship they want to form with Ralph.
yeah,
Okay, like that's okay,
No.
but like having a mechanism in place, I think talking about it from the jump, from the
Absolutely.
first call, and just go, listen, Norm, you're accustomed to paying a placement fee at upfront.
mhm,
Okay, yeah, we're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is we'll put some candidates in front of you. You're going to like one. You're going to work with them for a long time. And if at any point you feel like you want to take your relationship to the next level with that person, not a problem. There's a placement fee. It's the
Yeah.
same fee that you were going to pay. You're just
You're just
paying it
gonna
in a
pay
different
it now.
place.
Yeah. Yeah, and that money doesn't earn up. So you're not buying that employee over the course of 3 years. And I think so
Right.
unsolicited advice now is where we get into
No,
we're gonna
no,
rebuild your business here, Max.
no.
Um, but it's
It's just because
also
it's such a curious problem.
it is, and this is also putting you on the side of the candidate as well,
Yep.
right? So your developer, you're now an agent for their success into their next career move. So you're not you're not incentivized to hold them back for your own good,
right.
That's right.
right? Your team is incentivized to say, William's an amazing developer. These guys really have grown to like him. Let's go get you onto your next thing. We're going to
Yeah,
get compensated for it because we're a business, right? And so that
that's right.
Hmm.
15, 20, 30% has to happen. That's business, and both parties understand that. But you're building that relationship with that developer so that when his job, not if, but when the job ends, where you just sold him into,
You
or
have
where
a
you've
place.
collected the fee, he's going to come back to you and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that engagement. Who else do you have I could work with?" And now you're going to double, triple, quadruple dip on
yeah.
that same person.
You just keep
No different than
you
any
just
staffing agency would.
redeploying them.
Yeah.
But the final question for me is without naming names and things like that, just a great customer success story. Something
Okay.
where you're like, you know what? And you know, again, not without names, but just the idea that they approached you, that maybe they were skeptical,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden magic happened.
Sure. I just want to start with, as I said before, that it's not a red ocean here. It's a bloody ocean with sharks that you have to find your way around. You know, you cannot just say that you have a good service. And
Hmm.
customer success stories is that thing that you really need to have. You know, when somebody asks you, "How are you special?" And fortunately, we do have a few customer success stories that we are proud to share. And so there is a British company, TouchStay. I can name because they are public. It's not a big deal. We talk about that on publicly on our social networks. Anyway, so they came to us 7 years ago, where they were a small startup. And probably today we would be more cautious starting with a small startup, as I mentioned before, no investments, very tight on budget. But we were lucky to start working with them. They were very tight on budget. We negotiated a lot, the monthly rates of the developers, but we helped them to build that software engineers team that are still working for them today, the same team
Wow.
for 7 years. And not they are just working. The company 2 months ago they got acquired by another company called a Trinity, and they made a very good deal. I'm not sure about the figures, and
Right.
it's
Hmm.
not my business, but I know all parties are happy, and moreover, the whole team that we hired, they also got very good sales bonuses. So I think that's a great story. Everybody's happy, and we are really proud that we helped to bring them from, from having zero customers, or maybe they had just like MVP product and a few customers, to, because their product is in being like real estate and traveling industry. They basically have a digital guidebook for guests who rent B&Bs, So
Yeah.
when you check in, you have those like Wi-Fi passwords on the
Yeah.
physical piece of paper. They just digitalize it. It's a very simple product, but they really have a very good and a strategic idea behind this, because now it turned into kind of like a landing page builder for B&B owners who can put all of the useful information and stuff like that.
Right.
And it blew up. They have thousands of customers, tens of thousands of properties all over the world. So that's that. There you have it.
Can't beat that. Max, this
No.
is awesome. Thank you so much for coming
100%.
on, sharing a little bit about the story. And if you're still
My
Love what
listening,
you
pleasure.
do.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
subscribe, love us everywhere. We'll see you next
Love
time.
what you're